Morocco itself has a lot of like echoes of silence. They said like they lost their native tongue speaking Darija or French, but how much history it has and the fact that it's still alive on this day says something also about the language and how language still can survive under colonialism, oppression from a government, etc. I am Maryam Touzani. I'm a photographer based in Rotterdam. I graduated from the KBK in 2023. And I'm a photographer, image maker that explores the themes of identity, the desire to belong. I think what I try to explain with what I do or like what I've been doing so far is that it's not this either or that, it's both. I am both. I am Moroccan, but I'm also Dutch. Like when I'm in Morocco, I'm the Dutch one. But when I'm here, I'm the Moroccan. We all hear this cliche, and it's really true. And one thing I learned from being a photographer and talking and sharing with people is that there's so many people that feel a bit out of place in society. And I think photography became such a beautiful tool for me to connect with people, to hold that discourse. I feel very much intrigued by trying to understand things that are not understandable. So a good example with that is this project for this festival. It's called How to Tame a Wild Tongue. And it talks about how do you walk in a society where you cannot speak its language due to migration, but also colonial history. So already language that is lost in my tongue. But this project is also trying to make sense of its history of like why it's an oppressed language. I think it's very difficult for me to be a photographer and a woman that doesn't speak its language in Morocco. Either it's a positive or a negative encounter I have with people, it starts with, why don't you speak the language? Why don't you speak Arabic? Not even Tamazight, but why don't you speak Arabic? At the moment of where I am in my practice, I always start with myself. This personal aspect, like using myself and talking about like this social issue or this social discourse. A lot of things inspire me. I feel like that it comes in seasons. Like for this project, I read a lot of things about theory, about language and mother tongue. I remember also like being in Morocco in December. There are like some certain things that you come a bit numb from. Like the first thing I noticed as well when I was in Morocco of like how nice it is to see a sky. Yeah, I don't know, they activate me. Rotterdam is a port city. It's this thing of like Rotterdam. It contains so much history of like different people from different places, and they all come together and coexist in this city. I think I remember very well that there was like this part in me growing up in the Netherlands that I felt a bit disconnected from it. I still have a lot of family in Morocco and they understand that I don't speak Tamazight, but there will always be this some part of like that you can, that you're disconnected. My mom, she can speak Dutch. We can have a conversation, but I could never have this conversation with her right now explaining or expressing myself of like how difficult it is for me, that I cannot speak her language. She cannot understand. So there's always has been a bit this mismatch between me and my mother. I always say like that why I make work or why I make photography is like if my mom can understand what I do, like that's like where language is not important anymore. I was working fragments. So I spent one particular time on archival work. It's something I found really important when people migrated from Morocco to the Netherlands and they left some people, like family behind. One of the ways to connect with them, they would record cassettes and they would send them to the family, to either Morocco or to the Netherlands. And that's kind of like was the way for them to stay in touch, keep each other updated. I found these cassettes like a year ago in the summer in my grandmother's place. And then I knew that I had to do something with it. But during the time, I had no clue what I would do with it. And then almost like a year and a half later, suddenly I stumble on it and I'm like, wait, but this is actually what I have here. My hand is quite cold because this is literally the language I'm talking about. I myself am more interested in the missing parts of an archive, some purpose, because archiving says something about who you are, about your social class. I come from people that don't have the tools to archive. You know, like when the Spanish and the French left Morocco, Morocco was looking for unity. And a reason what they did with that is trying to eradicate its indigenous languages. And I think what I hope to get from this project, or maybe to give to people, is that, you know, that language is such a silent thing of like that. It's something that we maybe all underestimate, but how important it is. A lot of things about this history is like oral history. So this is like this thing of like that, the writings, the transcripts of Tamazight, but it's actually language that is taught by tongue to tongue. So when we talked just now also about archiving, I feel like that my body is the archive. So yeah, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? And for the next generations.
احنا وتاش من اللي سدات الباب بديت انا كنطلو من الثقبات ديال السالو